What habit hurts relationships the most? I was sitting in my mom's office with Sarah after things had gotten so bad between us that we both finally admitted we needed help. And when my mom asked me what I thought was the biggest problem in our relationship, I realized that the answer was something I had been doing for years without even really thinking about it. The habit that had hurt our relationship the most was the way I would shut down and stop talking whenever things got difficult or uncomfortable. And instead of saying what I was actually feeling, I would just go silent and retreat into myself like I was protecting myself from getting hurt, and Sarah would be left standing there desperate to know what was wrong but having absolutely no idea how to reach me when I was in that headspace. I remembered a specific fight we had about having children where Sarah tried to talk to me about how alone she was feeling. And instead of listening to her and working through it with her, I just told her that I didn't want to talk about it and I walked away. And she spent hours trying to figure out what she had done wrong when the real problem was that I was too scared and too uncomfortable to have a real conversation. My mom explained that this pattern of shutting down and withdrawing was called stonewalling, and that it was one of the most damaging habits in any relationship because it made the other person feel abandoned and rejected and unheard, and it prevented any real problem solving or connection from happening because you can't fix something when one person has completely checked out of the conversation. I thought about all the times Sarah had tried to reach me and I had just pulled further away, and I remembered the look of frustration and sadness on her face when she realized that I was never going to actually engage with her, and I started to understand why she had said in the garage that day that she wasn't sure if love was enough anymore if we weren't actually choosing each other and communicating. My mom asked me where I had learned to shut down like that, and I realized that it came from my childhood where my parents had taught me that expressing emotions was weak, and that if you couldn't fix something immediately then you shouldn't talk about it at all, and I had carried that pattern into my adult relationships without ever questioning whether it was actually healthy. Sarah told me that shutting down hurt her more than any mean words or argument ever could, because at least with a fight you could talk things through and move past them, but when I would go silent it felt like she was being punished for having feelings, and it made her feel completely alone even though we were in the same house together. From that talking session I learned that the habit that hurts relationships the most is the refusal to communicate when things get hard, and that avoiding difficult conversations doesn't make problems go away, but instead lets them grow bigger and bigger until the distance between two people becomes so wide that they forget how to even reach each other anymore, and that real love requires the courage to stay present and talk even when it's uncomfortable and scary.